Welcome to Brighter Roots, where you learn and take something with you. Now listen to this story. You need to watch this if you struggle with achieving your dreams. Kalani clutched the acceptance letter, her heart pounding. Yale. She had dared to dream it, to pour her soul into every application essay, every exam. Growing up in Harlem, surrounded by both vibrancy and struggle, an Ivy League education felt like a distant star, yet here it was, a tangible symbol of her unwavering determination. But the weight of reality soon settled in. The letter mentioned financial aid, but the cost still seemed insurmountable. Kalani balanced her academic ambitions with a part-time job at the local bakery. The aroma of fresh bread always brought a sense of comfort, a reminder of her family's warmth amidst their struggles. Her mother, Miss Jackson, worked tirelessly as a nurse's aide, her hands calloused yet gentle. The weight of their financial burden was evident in the worry lines etched on her face. Evenings were often filled with a mix of hope and anxiety. Kalani and Miss Jackson would pore over college brochures, the glossy pages a stark contrast to the faded paint peeling from their apartment walls. The acceptance letter was a beacon of possibility, but the path forward was shrouded in uncertainty. Kalani yearned for a brighter future, not just for herself, but for her family, especially her younger brother, Jay. She often found herself thinking about the words of Langston Hughes, whose poems resonated deeply within her soul. "Hold fast to dreams," he wrote, "for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly." These words fueled her determination, reminding her that even amidst the struggles, dreams had the power to uplift and inspire. The tension in the small apartment was palpable. Miss Jackson sat at the kitchen table, a pile of bills spread before her. The latest eviction notice lay on top, a stark reminder of their precarious situation. Kalani watched her mother, her heart aching. She knew that her acceptance to Yale, while a reason for celebration, also brought a new set of challenges. "Mama," Kalani began, her voice soft yet firm, "we'll find a way. I can work more hours at the bakery and maybe—" Her words were cut short by Miss Jackson's weary sigh. "It's not that simple, baby girl. You've worked so hard, earned your place at that fancy school. I won't have you sacrificing your future because of—" She stopped abruptly, her gaze fixed on the worn tablecloth. The unspoken subject hung heavy in the air. Kalani's father, Jacob. He had left when Jay was just a baby, leaving a void in their lives that was impossible to fill. Miss Jackson rarely spoke of him, but Kalani knew that his absence, both emotional and financial, weighed heavily on her mother's mind. Theirs was a story all too familiar in Harlem, a testament to the enduring impact of systemic inequalities. Despite the challenges, Kalani refused to give in to despair. She had learned from her mother the true meaning of resilience, of holding on to hope even when faced with adversity. She would find a way to make her dream a reality, for herself, for her family, and for all those who dared to dream big despite the odds stacked against them. The school hallway buzzed with the usual lunchtime chatter, but Kalani felt a familiar knot of worry tightening in her chest. Her friend Kanani sat slumped against the lockers, her usually bright eyes clouded with distress. Kanani, always the life of the party, seemed small and fragile. Kalani had a sinking feeling that something was terribly wrong. "Kanani?" Kalani asked gently, taking a seat beside her friend. "What's going on?" Kanani hesitated, her gaze fixed on the floor. I'm pregnant," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the din of the hallway. Kalani's heart went out to her friend. Kanani was just 16, her future stretching before her like an unwritten page. Now that future seemed uncertain, shadowed by this unexpected responsibility. They talked for what felt like hours, the noise and bustle of the school fading into the background. Kanani confided her fears, her confusion, the overwhelming sense of being alone. Kalani listened patiently, offering words of comfort and support. She knew that Kanani's situation was not uncommon, particularly in their community where access to healthcare and resources was often limited. As the bell rang, signaling the end of lunch, Kalani felt a surge of determination. She would be there for Kanani, just as Kanani had always been there for her. They would face this challenge together, drawing strength from their friendship and the unwavering support of their community. In that moment, Kalani realized that life's journey, while filled with unexpected twists and turns, was ultimately about love, compassion, and the unbreakable bonds of sisterhood. Miss Thompson's AP literature class was unlike any other. It wasn't just about analyzing Shakespeare or dissecting poetry. It was about connecting the dots between the written word and the realities of their lives. Kalani found herself drawn to the works of authors like Zora Neale Hurston and James Baldwin, their words echoing the struggles and triumphs of her own community. One afternoon, Miss Thompson posed a question that sparked a lively debate. How do race, class and privilege intersect in the texts we've read? The room crackled with energy as students shared their perspectives, drawing parallels between the fictional worlds they explored in literature and the very real world outside the classroom walls. Kalani listened intently, her mind racing. She thought about her own experiences, the invisible barriers she had encountered simply because of the color of her skin and the zip code she called home. She thought about Kanani's situation, a stark reminder of the systemic inequalities that disproportionately affected young women of color. And she thought about her own dreams, the audacity of aspiring for a life beyond the confines of her circumstances. Miss Thompson's class wasn't just about earning a good grade. It was about finding your voice, about using literature as a lens through which to examine the complexities of the world. It was about understanding that words had power, the power to inspire, to challenge, and to ignite change. As Kalani left the classroom that day, she carried with her a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to use her own voice to make a difference. The streets of Harlem were alive with a rhythm all their own. The syncopated beat of a street drummer, the melodic hum of conversations in Spanish, the laughter of children playing hopscotch on the sidewalk. These were the sounds of Kalani's life. Harlem was more than just a place, it was a tapestry woven from the dreams, struggles and triumphs of generations. Walking home from her evening shift at the bakery, Kalani felt a familiar sense of belonging wash over her. She passed by familiar faces. Mr. Johnson, the kindly owner of the corner bodega, Mrs. Rodriguez, who always had a kind word and a plate of warm empanadas, and Ty, her childhood friend, leaning against the stoop of his brownstone, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. "There's my girl, Kalani!" Ty called out, his voice a mixture of teasing and affection. "Heard you're going Ivy League honors. Don't forget about your homeboys when you're rubbing elbows with the elite." Kalani laughed, shaking her head at Ty's antics. He always knew how to lighten the mood, even when her mind was racing with a million thoughts. As she reached her building, Kalani paused, taking in the sight of the Apollo Theater's iconic marquee glowing in the distance. Harlem was a place of resilience, a testament to the enduring spirit of its people. It was a place where dreams were nurtured amidst adversity, where hope bloomed even in the face of hardship, and Kalani, with her acceptance letter tucked safely in her bag, was a living embodiment of that spirit, a shining example of what it meant to rise above your circumstances and reach for the stars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.